Good morning, my name is Perch Productions, and in this video, I'm gonna pick my top 3 Fanon ships I want to add to Star Wars. As you can tell by the title, this is part 2, so go watch the first video linked in the description or by clicking the card above, or by watching the opposite concept, which I'm not gonna link in the description, but I'm sure you can find on my channel pretty recently. So, unlike the other videos, I'm going to keep these ships out of order since it was very hard to pick a favorite or a second favorite or even a third favorite. But yeah, now let's begin with the first ship. In my opinion, Fanon ships work best when they feel like something in universe, and I think the Victory 3 class is the perfect embodiment of that. The Victory line of Imperial Star Destroyers has changed a lot throughout their service, with models 1 and 2 being very different to each other to deal with the different enemies that those ships were facing. The Victory 3 was made for the point in time between the destruction of the second Death Star and the rise of the First Order, when the Empire was running out of ships and needed new weapons to end the New Republic. The Victory 3 class Star Destroyer has a lot of lore behind it from the two designers, but I'm not going to cover that right now. If you want to learn all about the lore, just Google the ship's name on YouTube and I guarantee you can find a video about it, as it's a pretty common ship. Now, onto the stats. The ship has standard turbo lasers, plus concussion missile tubes, which were present on the OG model, but not the version 2. But the V3 had one slight difference, that being you could change the ordnance and fire really any kind. 3 examples of possible ordnance that the creators mentioned were ion rockets, shrapnel torpedoes, and concussion missiles. Fun fact about shrapnel torpedoes, they won't be blocked by most ships' shields. The shields used by fighters and warships are energy shields and are made to stop lasers, but it can't block solid objects like fighters or bullets or something. So if you fire something like bullets or a torpedo, you can get through those shields, which is why shrapnel torpedoes are so good for fighters and larger capital ships, but mostly capital ships. Now, the ship also has 28 ion cannons, 14 tractor beams, as well as flak guns, which just really means that it's really good as an actual ship. Moving back to the shrapnel torpedoes, they were very long range, and if you had a half-decent targeting computer or any skill whatsoever, you could fire one right into the hangar of an enemy ship, where it would explode, killing any crew, heavily damaging any ships, and the ship's shields wouldn't even stop it. These weapons would allow the Victory to keep enemy ships out of range, while any ship that got close enough would be destroyed by its flak guns, turbo lasers, and concussion missiles. The ship also made some practical choices, like moving the 2 bridge shield generators behind the bridge so they're not right on top and vulnerable. It also moved the large sensor tech away from the bridge and put it into the protected back section. The ship was 1,000 meters long, aka 600 meters, smaller than the ISD-2. Now for the ship's complement of ships and vehicles. It could carry 4 squadrons of TIEs around 48 ships, 6 Lambda shuttles, 12 ATSTs, 4 turbo tanks, and 20 Republic fighter tanks. The ships had a better shield array than the Victory 1 and 2, and its hyperdrive was a class 0.8, which is way better than any capital ship the Empire has been seen using in canon, to my knowledge, like right off the top of my head. It had a crew of 6,500, and to be honest, I really like this ship. Now, this entry has been going on for a while, so let me just sum it up with a quick little bit about why I want it added to canon. To me, the Victory could really help the Empire fight the New Republic, who have the superior firepower and numbers right now. Since Thrawn will hopefully be leading the Imperial Remnant soon, I think he could really do well with 1 or 2 of these ships backing up the Chimera, along with some smaller support ships. Anyways, I hope this really short explanation helps you know why I wanted to be added to Star Wars. This really long explanation of the ship could kind of teach you how good it was. This ship is amazing. Unlike the previous ship, it has a lot of lore around it. About a page, and that's just a summary of all the stats. The ship is around 12 pages of lore, give or take. Probably give. Anyways, the ship, battle station, serves as a command post and a resupply station. I love it mostly because of how it fits in with the aesthetic of other circular Imperial bases and stations, as well as just how practical it would be. While a single Star Destroyer might patrol a planet, one of these would be the base for multiple Star Destroyers and smaller ships in a sector. The ship could carry upwards of 18 Star Destroyers, plus a mix of 36 frigates, cruisers, and corvettes. Excluding the Star Destroyer's complement of fighters, the station itself could hold 18 squadrons of TIE fighters, plus around 280 shuttles and transports. It could hold 38,000 kilotons of cargo and enough food to last on it for 4 decades of service. Its weapons included 1,020 turbo laser batteries, 780 dual laser cannons, 720 ion cannons, 320 missile turrets, and 316 tractor beam projectors. While the thing, like the Death Star and other space stations, are called space stations, both this and the Death Star have hyperdrives and can move around in space. The Tyon has a Class 3 hyperdrive and a Class 18 backup. While that's all it has when it comes to stats, I definitely love this ship. It proves to be very useful for the Empire, and I could definitely see this being an actual ship. I also think that if this thing did operate, it would probably end up in a Star Wars Rebel episode, with the Spectres trying to destroy one operating around Lothal or in a nearby sector. I would love to see this ship in canon at some point, and if I accomplish my dream of becoming a film director for a Star Wars project, you can bet I will be putting something about these ships that are in this list in that project, even if it's just a small little Easter egg, like it's in the background of a single shot, or it's name dropped. If this came into the Imperial Remnant era with Thrawn and stuff, I could definitely see a beaten up old, supposedly decommissioned one of these working as a secret cloning lab for some Imperial officer, maybe even the First Order, or even someone like Gideon if he wasn't, dead. Now, before we move on to the next ship, please consider subscribing to me on my channel, or giving this video a like, as it took a long time to make, around 4 hours, really. Anyways, back to the video and the final entry. Now, this Fanon design made by E.C. Henry is not my favorite design I have put in this video, but I think that it's something that would be very useful, and actually probably does actually exist. The TIE hyperdrive ring would allow a normal TIE that cannot travel through hyperspace to be able to. Now, while I don't think this would work well for every TIE, I do think it would be useful for some of the smaller Special Forces squadrons like Inferno Squad that need to operate stealthily. I would rather add something like the Tyon class battle station, but the thing I like about the TIE hyperdrive ring is that it might already exist and is just like the secret project the Empire's trying to keep on the down low. Like the battle station, I think that I could see this appearing in a Star Wars Squadrons episode. Sorry, not a Star Wars Squadrons, Star Wars Rebels episode. Now, before I finish this entry, I do want to also clarify that in E.C. Henry's video, he said the ring would only be able to be used once, since it's so much smaller than other hyperdrive rings that we'd see. And I think he said he would also because it cost a lot to keep one operational at full capacity, and that having a one-way trip would be almost just making a new one would be almost the same cost of keeping one operational for that long at a bigger, size. And while I personally think this kind of makes the ship less useful if it's for a round trip only, I understand where he's coming from, though I don't think I explained the whole one-way trip thing very well, so please watch his video linked in the description. Anyways, that's it for this entry. So now, yeah, so if you want to see part 3 of this video, help get me a couple more subs from this video, like 2 more if possible, and then plus at least a 70% like to dislike ratio, plus a couple of views. Doesn't have to be a lot of views, like 20 plus views. Anyways, yeah. So thanks for watching this video. Like I said, if you considered subscribing, that would be amazing, especially if you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace the hell out. Yeah, peace out.